Oh, yes.
Crazy, crazy stuff, right?
He's a man.
Wild women, the ripping and the tearing.
It's all happening.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live. There's no words on it. There's no words there.
Coming to you live from Arcane Sublevel 7, It's Talk is Cheap. Now here's your host, Dan Hohlfeld.
Thanks for caring about people.
All right, go.
Welcome to Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk and talk is cheap. I'm your host, ladies and gentlemen, Dan Hohlfeld. It is Tuesday, February 5th, 2019, and we are live. We are here live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 11 a.m. Pacific. And of course, we are simulcasting on Mixer, Twitch, and YouTube. But back on YouTube after a little suspension there. Got the YouTube wings back. Of course, everybody, good to see you. I can see you in the chat room. Always good to hear from you. Glad you guys can join me. Have you seen the new Tom DeLonge cartoon vid? It's weird, says Mike Jackson. No, I have not. I've been watching a lot of Tom DeLonge stuff. Well, I keep an eye on his Twitter because obviously To the Stars Academy and all that. Always waiting for the next big thing to come out, and it's just, selling merch, which is fine. He's got to support, but, when you have a mind-blowing thing about disclosure, and then it's been like a year, and then it's like, well, what's going on? It's just a slow progression there. But, yeah, if you guys want to call in later and talk about To the Stars Academy, I'd love to hear you. We're going to open up the phone lines later on. I like to make this your guys' show as well. You can come on and vent. Let's just do this every Tuesday. Have a good time. Yeah, if you can't catch the show live, we are always available later on your favorite podcasting app, whether it be Google Play. We got the iTunes, and then we also have Spotify as well. It's all there and much more as well. Big announcement here, folks. Next week would be, God, what is that, the 12th? Next week, Tuesday, we got M and Miss M of Deep Disclosure coming on, and they're going to talk about the alliance, the deep state takedown, the currency reevaluation, and they were generous enough to also take phone calls. So we'll open up the phone calls later on in the show. You guys can call in and chat about that as well if you have questions. So, big show today. There's a lot to break down. We got the Aliya Prokofiev, however you say her last name. There was a UN vid. Looked very convincing. We're going to break that down. And then we got Senator Reid calling for congressional hearings on UFOs. We also have the Antarctica structure whistleblower came out on Lyndon Moulton Howell's channel. Very interesting stuff. And then there's a law. I want to talk about a law against making ET contact. Didn't even know about this. Looked it up. Mind blown. It's like, pfft. And then there's a Vegas shooting update. Obviously, we can't talk about that too much or getting too in depth because YouTube censorship, but we'll do what we can do as well. And a bunch of fun stuff later on. But first, let's get to today's top story. David Wilcock gave an update on Sunday. I'm sure a lot of you seen this. Okay, let me go to I can't see you guys' chat. It's not refreshing. He gave an update about this. So he had multiple insider sources come out saying that military tribunals are going on in several locations and Guantanamo. Now, these are mid-level people being taken out that are directly involved with the child trafficking. So it's like we want to see the top of the pyramid get taken down, but we got to let this middle stuff get taken down first. And it makes sense why they would do that, because I get frustrated just as anybody else does. But if you got this hierarchy and if you take the top off, people are going to panic, and then you still have the structure in place where things are going to continue on. If you keep the high level people going and then take out that chunk underneath, you can get rid of a lot of the foundation there, and it's still going to look like everything's normal. Very, very smart and wise by the alliance. Now, is there a lot of evidence about this? No. We just have to go with the insider sources. I wish there was more evidence directly to us. He's basically said that they're going down there on some massive prison barges, and the white hats want to keep this secret for a year to not cause the panic, but they realize that this stuff is going to leak out, and they can't stop the leak. And I guess it's all being filmed, the tribunals, and it's just going to come out, and just can't wait for this to be very public and everybody can be like, wow, these guys were guilty of this, you're still going to have people that are dumbed down and be like, I don't believe it. Trump's being a dictator. He's Hitler. But I don't know. We just got to do what we got to do. There's brainwash beyond repair. And then there's also supposed to be a data dump later this year that's supposed to be worse than the Podesta stuff. So that is going to be very, very interesting. And David Wilcock is going to have an article written up. I believe he'll release it later tonight. He's got to wait until after the State of the Union. They must have told him to hold off. So we were talking in the chat before the show started, you know, is there going to be something big here on the State of the Union that Trump's going to release? I don't know, but it's pretty weird that Wilcock can't release until after the State of the Union, unless he's purposely doing that just to see if Trump says anything, and then we can speculate all day. But let's play a clip from David Wilcock talking about this stuff, and then we'll move on.
We are looking at right now tribunals that are allegedly taking place. We have very good intel on this from multiple insider sources that they have arrested right now key people in the deep state. They already have tribunals going on in several locations in the United States and apparently Guantanamo. There are prison barges taking people to Guantanamo, and what they've done is they have started with the mid-level people who were directly involved in child trafficking. The sealed indictments that we've been hearing so much about are being unsealed. People are being put on trial in secret tribunals. These are military trials. They happen quickly. Some people are getting the death penalty. This is very serious. It has not yet been authorized to be leaked to the public.
But David Wilcock leaked it. I wish we had some more evidence. That's all I'm saying.
Now, the people who are doing this think that they can make it stay secret for a year or two. They're hoping it could take that long. Because remember, the original mass arrest scenario I've been telling you guys about since 2009 was going to be everybody getting arrested at once. But it turns out when the rubber meets the road, the Alliance does not have the staff to do that. They're going to need to do it a little at a time. So it's going to take them a year or two to get everybody. Now, there are some factions. There's one faction, the Alliance, and this is a group opposing the deep state that represents the military, the intelligence community, and many other governments around the world, okay? That community doesn't want to tell us. There's one faction that is worried about the mess, but then there's another faction that says, this is definitely going to leak. We can't stop the leaks. They're coming out. There's nothing we can do about it. Kim.com is the guy who did Mega Upload, and he was one of the insiders who said what was coming with WikiLeaks before it did in October 2016. Kim.com, with that insider connection, is saying that we're going to get data dumps this year that are worse than anything we saw in October 2016, which of course is all the Podesta stuff, all the PZG stuff. You figure out what that means. So,
all right, we'll stop there. I'm looking at the chat here. There's definitely a lot of people that don't believe what Wilcock is saying. I am kind of there with you guys. We got, what was it, Night Furry. We said this started in January. I heard from Benjamin Hohlfeld. So we hear a lot about these tribunals going on, and we're just so ready for something. And then to other people's point about not believing David, I think he's made some predictions that haven't happened before. You know, he had the whole 2012 thing, like we hit 2012, we're supposed to ascend, and, you know, maybe that was supposed to be the whole New Earth thing at that point, and then it didn't happen. David was disappointed about it. He went into a cave for quite some time before he regrouped and came back out. But it is what it is. I mean, you got to go with your gut. We've seen that the sealed indictments are written down. There's lots of them, you know, thousands a month. And I think there's definitely a piece started here. So we can take it for what it is. Is something going to happen? Is something not? Let's see what, I mean, that's all we can do anyway, is see what happens, but we'll have to see how it plays out and then go from there. But just breaking that that's huge news if it's going on. You know, hopefully Obama's getting tried down there too, and things are going to finally get back to where they should be. And we can have peace on Earth and have the Earth the way it's supposed to be. This will be the new Earth, is what's going to happen. So let's, I was going to take a phone call, or excuse me, voicemail from Fred Grace. He called in. I wanted to play that.
Hi, Dan. This is Fred Grace, man. I just wanted to congratulate you and K2D4 on the great output you guys are generating show after show. Keep up the good work. The topics, the electromagnetic field, the black holes, they're getting down on space. We're talking Mars. We're talking 20 different moons around Saturn alone. We go to Jupiter. We got more, or just as many. Oh, my God. We're in space, dude. We're using the electromagnetic field. See, remember when I was telling you about the plasma generator and you can transmutate the elements? See, they know all this. They know it. They don't want to release it because if this gets out to the public, it's all of a sudden, it's like, Jesus Christ, superstar, who in the world do you think you are? Because you are a man and you have unlocked the keys to the universe and you can go anywhere.
I'll cut you off there, Fred, because you did go a little long. I think he went like 3 minutes, and then the still got cut off by the voicemail, but I kept it to a minute there. Thanks for calling in, Fred. Yeah, definitely doubling down here, getting some information out. I appreciate the call. And yeah, we're going to see a world transformation. I think there's a lot of disclosure stuff coming out slower than we want, but we're going to see what happens here, and hopefully we can start taking stuff to the next level, because that's what it's all about. All right, let's move on to our next story, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
All right, so if you guys are on the internet, there was a big thing going on talking about the Aliya Prokofiev, however you say her name. She's the CEO of a Moscow-based Galactica group. Now, she came out, I'm going to play the video here, on it was a UN speaking thingamadoer where they stand up in front of people. I'll just shut the audio off because you can't understand what they're saying anyway. So basically she comes out, walks down, sits in the chair, and then they introduce her, and then they say, if you're recording anything, keep it quiet because prosecution will follow if anything's leaked. Basically, she goes up to the podium, says that there was a triangle craft above the Pentagon, and it did not show any signs of being a threat. But I was like, okay, there's something to like going on here, because I had to double check things, and it didn't take long for somebody to come out and have where's the comparison? Oh, we're too far already. That it's actually fake. We got the supposed real one on the right, and then her on the left. I'm gonna say that the one she did is a fake, but I'm definitely gonna say, because you can see these guys when they're moving, the legs match up with the one on the left. You know, right there where he gave the heads up to go. They're both in sync. Now this is some major work to get this done. One thing I will show at the beginning of this video, look at this man in uniform, general. I think he might be a general, I'm not sure. I don't know my ranks. But he moves on the right one, not on the left one. That's the biggest difference I could see between these two videos. And that kind of is what leads me to believe the one on the left is fake. Because that one you would just keep it stationary. There was a lot of trickery going on with this thing. And you know, at first it's like, why to go to great lengths to do something like that? I looked up at her website. She's a visionary. She wants to make this city in space. She's got an orbital city. She wants to start doing this on the Earth first, just have a city started so it feels like you're living in space. You know, definitely a lot of thought has gone into this. Here's a nice little drawing, if you will, of a space city and what it would look like. We've seen this in the movie before. I can't remember what movie that was, where it's like you're in a ring. It was like really weird, but definitely futuristic. And then here, there was definitely some evidence of a triangle UFO craft. This one is in Moscow, right up here. You guys can see it. It's a very bad video, but you know, if you can fake a UN video like that, that's not beyond fakery here. This one I think is fake, and I just think so because of the way he moves. When he zooms in, it's almost like it's synced with the camera. But then there's another one here later of the actual, this was above the Pentagon, and this would probably be supposedly what she was talking about. Right up here, it's very hard to see. Yeah, exactly. People are saying in the chat, you can fake anything today. Game Boy says that. Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's so hard to take anything at face value anymore. And this will lead into my next topic very smoothly of what I want to make a point about, but I'm just going to show this Pentagon here. It goes right after they came through the tunnel here. It's up here. You can kind of see it, and then it disappears, and then there's another shot here once they go by. Oh, shoot. It was on the other side of this tunnel. Okay. Let me back up just a second here. Okay, where are you? Can't always see it, but then later on you will see it. I think it's like right up here. Yeah, right here. Very hard to see, but there's something there. Yeah, it could be faked. We see this stuff all the time of being faked, and you get so tired of all this fakery, and it's like, what can you believe anymore? You can't believe anything. And that's really what it's coming down to. It's what do you question everything, and then well, we got video, but video can be faked. Now her response, I looked this up. She's got a Facebook as well as a Twitter. Twitter hasn't been active since December, and then she's gone really quiet on Facebook, but the Facebook was active towards the end of January. One person did ask her about this, and he says, oh shoot, he says, is the video of you speaking at the UN real? And her response, her only response was, where did you get this? These materials are prohibited to be shown in any form. In any case, they will be discussed. In any case, they will not be discussed and commented on. So why? I think she was definitely a part of hoaxing this whole thing. Now, why do that? Try to bring attention to her Galactica group. Because eventually, okay, everybody's going to be like, oh, that's fake, talking about it. But then pretty soon, that's all that's left is her visionary thing. And then, you know, a few years' time, you're going to forget about the hoax. And we've kind of seen this with Alex CF and his cryptid museum, where we talked about that on here. He made all these mummified fairies and vampires and all that stuff. And then eventually, he just... he tried to pull it off like it was real, and it was all fake, and he just acted like it was real. Now, is she doing this to just get some stuff started? There was another one here of a bad key. Somebody captured this. You know, the only thing is with this video, your back a ways, you're gonna start getting some glitching in it too. But I want to say this is not beyond the government to pull something like this off too. I mean, think about that. Like, if this was actually real, it wouldn't be beyond the government to put out the other one to make this one look fake and discredit it. And now we've seen how technology can do that. It's like, you start thinking that way. It's like, what else has been like washed down so you don't believe it? It's crazy. All right, so this is going to transfer into the next topic I want to get into very, very nicely. Let's move on.
Do it now.
All right, deep fakes. This was brought to my attention by Annette Eisenhower. She's a viewer. So thanks for this. She shared this video with me. This is from Shane Dawson. He's got quite a lot of subscribers, 20 mil. He's making a nice living on YouTube. But this whole fakery app, this plays nice with the last topic I was talking about, that you can actually just put your face on somebody else. Let's just play the clip and then we'll discuss it afterwards here.
Now, something that could affect all of us is deepfakes could be used in politics.
But take a look at this. That's President Trump's real face on the right, digitally stamped onto Baldwin's performance. Testing. This program can change facial expressions in real time.
And now I can create President of the United States saying just about anything I want. That's terrifying.
This is an actual danger. Like, this could be a problem. And it's such a big problem that even Obama himself has spoken out about it.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
Or has he spoken out about it?
President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now, you see, I would never say these things. Someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele.
So there we have it. Right there. I mean, this is like public stuff. You know, imagine if you put a lot of work into it. Like, there's even a thing called Fake App. I went to that website. It's actually taken down. Maybe they're trying to like not let this stuff out to the public anymore. And then you could say, oh, the voice ain't the same. Well, Adobe, I think it was 2016, they had this program that they were going to release that was called Adobe Voco. You get just a sound bite of somebody talking and then put that into the program and you can just retype and make them say anything and it sounds like them. So combine that with this, you got a useful tool. And what we're coming down to, people, is video evidence is not going to be even a good alibi for anything in court. Somebody could be like, I got you here on camera. I got you saying this. This just proves it right there. It doesn't mean a damn thing. So where are we going as a civilization if video evidence can't prove your innocence, or likewise can be used to indict you into something? That's crazy. And then you hear about the government taking your DNA at birth and then they can frame you for anything they want. It's crazy. Unbelievable. I'm going to say hi to the chat over here. We got Carrie's in the house. Awaken Within is Carrie. Thanks for joining us, Carrie. Always glad that everybody's participating. But yeah, future, an insane future, folks, can be pretty damn scary if you ask me. All right, I'm going to get to our next story, and then we'll be opening the phone lines here pretty quick. Let's move on over.
It can happen.
All right, this is mind-blowing here. Navy SEAL reveals secret mission to ancient burial structure in Antarctica. Now, this was from the Linda Moulton Howell video testimony. Now, she's going to be releasing more in the coming weeks and months. This is just like a part one. So basically, this whistleblower he's a Navy SEAL, former retired Navy SEAL. In 2003, he went into a large octagon structure located near Beardmore Glacier. I got it on the screen here. That'd be right here. He landed at this station. They fly into this. This is the biggest U.S. Antarctica base right here. And then they drove up to the Beardmore Glacier. He's going under the alias as Spartan 1. The Navy SEAL says that that ground-penetrating radar had discovered the structure, which was an 8-sided octagon. In 2003, a U.S. Navy SEAL operation team traveled to Antarctica to investigate a perfectly geometric 8-sided octagon structure discovered by ground-penetrating radar near Beardmore Glacier, about 93 miles from McMurdo Station. 93 miles in between here. That's a little bit of a drive. Another previous team of engineers and scientists had dug out the top layer of one octagon made of pure black substance that was built on top of 2 more black octagonal structures that went down deep, 2-mile thick ice. Spartan 1 described entering a doorway approximately 50 feet under the ice. He estimated the walls of the structure as about 18 to 30 feet thick and the ceiling height around 22 to 28 feet. He said the walls, ceiling, and floor were made of black basalt material that looked like shiny black marble. The interior was heated to around 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit and was also lighted by a lime green source projected from the ceiling and floor. He did not see any heating or lighting equipment, which added to the mystery of the buried structure. So you got these buried structures down in Antarctica. You go in there, these thick doors. Go through there. You see this light green lime glowing. You can't see where the source is coming from. It's like there's no bulb. It's not hidden under anything. They kind of said it looked like if you had like a light strip under a countertop where you don't see the light and it's just kind of glowing there. That it kind of looked something like that, but there's no way to see it. So basically these walls are self-lighting like that. And then the heat to get it to 68 to 72 degrees down in Antarctica, this is some massive technology. This was covering 62 acres. The walls and doors were covered by hieroglyphs, neither Egyptian nor Mayan, but appeared similar. We got Egyptian on the left, the Mayan on the right, something similar to that. One of the symbols was similar to the black sun image used by the Nazi SS. Now this we're going to be covering in a future topic on Talk is Cheap. That was Dusty's topic, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, so he transported these scientists there. They were documenting this stuff, and that they were believed that the structure was built by a human-looking group of extraterrestrials, and that they were involved in our genetic engineering. Now, the story goes that this was probably done, they're thinking like 33 million years ago when it was last free of ice. And then all of a sudden, it got buried with ice to get 2 miles. Probably before like the poles were shifted and all that. Now this goes in hand with Corey Good's claims, where he described 3 large motherships buried under the ice that were used to start a global civilization with Antarctica as the hub. And you got Pete Peterson, who his job was understanding the technologies found near 3 motherships. Insane stuff to have all that be going on. And now I've never heard about this octagon buildings like this, but when you think about Antarctica, it's a pretty hidden place. I mean, not many people are going to travel there. But they're starting to. I see that there's a lot of independent companies starting up, getting on the boats, going down there. I think there was something about, I read last week, about opening a gym down there. Why would you do that? Just to say they're on all the continents. It's just a bragging thing. But when you got companies that have more money than they know what to do with, it's pretty crazy. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Senator Reid thing. And then we're going to talk about the extraterrestrial law, get into the Vegas shooting. I will open the lines up immediately when we come back, so if you want to call in, I'd love to hear from you. See you on the other side.
Have your voice heard today. Call into the show at 1-605-562-0444. Show ID 146509.
Please hang up and try again.
On sale now at the K2D4 Network store. We have a wide range of shirts to get the message out to the public. The Disclosure Now with Fist Tee, break through the wall of suppression. End the cover-up with UFO Tee. Let the public know that there is more going on than we know, and it is time to bring out the suppressed technologies and advanced civilization once and for all. The signature, Talk is Cheap, it's time for disclosure. The Disclosure/Now Tee. Very simple but very effective message. It is time to change the world, and let's begin right now. And last but not least, the official K2D4 Network shirt. Support the broadcast and get yours at k2d4network.com.
Have a comment, question, or topic suggestion? Call our voicemail at 1-256-510-5400. 5234. That's 1-256-510-K2D4.
You're listening to Talk is Cheap with Dan Hohlfeld on the K2D4 network. Broadcasting worldwide, it's Talk is Cheap.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It is February 5th, 2019. We are live every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. So a lot of people talking in the chat. I was reading it during the break. Yes, Trump has got the State of the Union tonight. What will he talk about? Is he going to break something big? I sure hope so. Because we definitely need something like good and tangible. I don't want it to just be about, oh, we need a border wall. The Democrats are, that's probably what it's mostly going to be about. But we'll see what happens. But I'm going to open the phone lines. If you guys want to call in, chime in on stuff I just talked about. If there's something else on your mind, whatever, this is your guys' show. That's 1-605-562-0444, 1-605-562-0444. Do your call ID, that's 146-509#, and we'll get you up on the air. And you can say what is on your mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, let's get into the Harry Reid stuff. Yeah, former Senator Harry Reid. So we got former Senator Harry Reid calls for congressional hearings into UFOs. Now, I talked a little bit about this the other week where he was involved in the ATEP program with Hal Puthoff. Now, this is about 38 topics. Crazy, crazy stuff. You got wormholes. You got bending of space and time. All that crazy stuff that people says doesn't exist. They got laser-based weapons that they're not going to talk about and not release. But insane stuff that people said was never there. Now they're talking about it. This article also mentions that invisibility cloaking, invisible to radar, and in actual invisibility research has been underway at Nevada's Area 51 base. Stuff is getting more and more admitted, more and more in the open, because they have no choice but to bring this to the public so we can get this going. We can step up to our, living how we're supposed to live in utopia. So under Senate rules, Reid was prohibited from lobbying his former colleagues for 2 years. That time limit has expired earlier this month, and he's been making calls to key people in Washington about the issue. Now I want to play a little clip here. This is from, who was the reporter? I can never remember his name. George Knapp. Let's listen in. He's talking to Harry Reid.
Look on the ASA. My gosh.
We as a country are certainly not doing what we should do. This is an area that is important to not only our country, but to the world. And I know that other countries are doing more than we're doing. And I think that...
How does he know that?
There are those who think we're on the edge of disclosure, that any day now they're going to open up the doors and show us the saucers or open the files. I'm not as encouraged. What about you?
Well, I don't think I'm even close to that. I think before we get to that, I think we need to do a little work, and we're not doing enough scientific research.
We're not doing enough scientific research, so this is what the whole To the Stars Academy thing was about. You just gotta slowly, okay, we got the secret space programs here that's doing all this crazy stuff, and then we gotta have this public thing, and then slowly, so they're way advanced, but we gotta do it publicly, so it's just gotta be this slow thing. Even though Harry Reid was at Area 51, did they not take him to S4? Did they just take him up to the main base? Probably. He probably doesn't know that they had UFOs there. But when I look at this interview with George Knapp, it looks like he was. He kind of says, like George Knapp is like, oh, they're going to open up the doors there and show the saucers. And then Reid's kind of like, oh, we're probably not to that point yet. I think maybe he knows a lot that he's not letting on. And, man.
There are people hungry to do that. We have academics who are trained in all the sciences. A grant to a college would be a tremendous help. They could put it out to bid, like they do, find out who would do the best job. But the way it is now, we're doing nothing.
You've said about you don't think it's little green men, and we had a lot of speculation about where these vehicles are from. They're far more advanced than anything known to us. Is it possible that nobody really, there's no one who knows the ultimate answer, what the truth is?
I think now, and the reason I'm so terribly interested in this is I don't think no one has the answers. And that is too bad, because there are answers out there. But we're not going to get answers just by hoping they come. It can have to take some work.
They got the answers.
The idea of disclosure, have you had conversations with colleagues about the wisdom of letting all this loose? Is the public ready for it?
Come on, Reid.
Depends on what it is, I guess.
I don't think that Congress can make this decision on their own. They could try to pass a law, but that would create a lot more problems than it would solve, because there's a big public debate on this. I don't think at this stage would do a lot of good. Pentagon needs to get somebody within the Pentagon that's willing to do something that's a little different.
Little different, folks, because they did this already with the ATEP program. And that didn't go so well because they kept it all to themselves. Now, well, what's the next step? I mean, it's just this endless circle, and it's like, it's all there. They're just so scared to like tell everything. It's always this. You see this all the time with this disclosure thing. It's pushed forward, pushed back, push forward, push back. It's like, it's so weird. All right. Harry Reid is a criminal, possibly in jail now, says Allison Taylor. Is that true? I doubt it. No way. All right, I'm going to move on to the next topic. No one wants to call in. The phone lines are open, folks. Please, by all means, call in. Let's have a chat about what's on your mind. I am going to switch us on over.
They were jacking DMT 70 years ago.
All right. This one's pretty crazy. The extraterrestrial exposure law. I didn't believe this. I was listening to James Gilliland, I believe it was a couple weeks ago, and he was saying on there was actually a law against making contact with ETs. I was like, no way. I'm going to look this up. Here it is. Extraterrestrial exposure law of 1969. On July 1969, a United States law was passed called the Extraterrestrial Exposure Law that made it illegal for the public to come into contact with extraterrestrials or their vehicles. That is Title 14, Section 1211 of the Code of Federal Regulations. Anyone found guilty of such contact could face up to 1 year imprisonment as well as a fine of $5,000. Also, any individual who has been exposed could be quarantined under armed guards by the NASA administrator without hearing. The law was passed originally to protect the Earth from possible biological contamination resulting from the U.S. Apollo space program and other space exploration programs. It has been suggested by researchers and scientists that the U.S. government was very concerned that contact with extraterrestrial bacteria could result in a worldwide plague. The immune system of human beings wouldn't be able to fight off extraterrestrial bacteria, so therefore any kind of extraterrestrial exposure was taken very seriously. Now, 1969, that was quote-unquote the official moon landing, the first moon landing. So they had to come up with this law. So if there's extraterrestrial, we don't know what the biological stuff is. So they put this in place. I think they realized soon after that's they got no hold on them, that they have no control over it. So very crazy. I just thought I'd bring that up. It's unbelievable stuff that they'd have to make a law to say, hey, you can't make contact with ETs. But, you know, they thought it was a whole bacteria thing. Insane, folks. All right. That was a quick one. Let's move on to our next one, yes?
The ripping and the tearing.
Okay. It is official now, folks. Yes. Should we do a news alert on this one? Why not? It is official. Vegas shooting. FBI says case closed with no motive after 16 months. Oh, here we go with the official story. They had so long to investigate this thing. This is a whitewash if I ever seen one. After well over a year of investigating the tragic Las Vegas mass shooting in 2017 that left 58 people dead and countless more injured. The FBI concluded its investigation without a motive for shooter Stephen Paddock. Okay, do we believe that?
Uh-huh.
So the FBI report here, now this is the LVRP, that's Las Vegas Review Panel, found no evidence that Paddock's attack was motivated by any ideological or political beliefs. The LVRP concludes that Paddock's attack was neither directed, inspired, nor enabled by ideological motive persons or groups. Paddock was not seeking to further any religious, social, or political agenda through his actions. The LVRP further assesses that Paddock's conspire with no one. He acted alone. Yeah, you think so? Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
Because you can look at the receipts. He ordered for 2 at his hotel. They made sure to get rid of that evidence. But there was dinner for 2, and then you got reports about his wife being there, and then she said she wasn't there. She was in the Philippines. There was no mention of who was in Paddock's hotel room making noise complaints while while Paddock was traveling back to his home to retrieve weapons. The identities of the 3 female guests Paddock had in his room, or why his girlfriend, a foreign national, deleted her Facebook after the shooting, but before he had been identified. All this and then there was reports of these 2 girls at the concert saying, no, you guys are going to die, and all this other crazy stuff that, oh, the FBI just doesn't want to investigate that. Now here is the records showing the shooter's girlfriend working for the FBI. That is Marlu Danley, worked for the Federal Bureau of Investigations according to records. Right here, 63, Reno, Nevada, worked at the FBI. And then you also have witnesses claiming that they seen Paddock and her at the noodle shop. There's so much stuff to get into. I was just trying to review some of this stuff before the show. I mean, you can go on and on with stuff. It's not really going to matter at the end of the day. They whitewashed this whole thing, and it was probably the whole arms deal gone wrong. Stephen Paddock dealing arms. To have all that stuff up there, you know, why would you need all those guns, number one, if you were going to do this? You would just have like one with a bunch of magazines, maybe a couple for a backup in case one overheated. But give me a break. Yeah, then there was an Uber driver saying that she picked up Paddock and a woman at the airport. And then that's the other thing too. You look at these security cam footage things, and then there's not much there. And then, exactly, Game Boy in the chat says Saudi Prince was there. And then you hear all these shootings at all these other hotels too, just not the Mandalay, all over. And they just want to say it was a lone gunman. Most likely there was probably an assassination attempt on the Saudi Prince that was there, that they were going to go down with this. And I read this other guy on Reddit. He had a good breakdown. He said, because you do hear it in the video, it's really weird that you hear they're all over. They thought the Saudi Prince was supposed to be in the upper floor of the Mandalay Bay. You had Paddock that was going to run the guns. There was 2 terrorists, if you will, that were going to get these guns from Paddock. And then everything went wrong. They realized it, and you can hear there's 2 distinct, separate, small, just bang, and then a little bit later, bang. The guy on Reddit, he broke this down really well. Said basically they committed suicide, and then of course the FBI gets in there and they've doctor it up how they want. The interesting thing I want to say about that photograph is you got Paddock lying on the ground, and that gun is right over his leg with a tripod. It's like, how can you fall like that with the gun being on top of you? There's so many holes in this. It's ridiculous. And then you got his brother, who basically almost slips up on television here. Let's play that clip.
Steve had no help. Steve didn't take help. It did not take a village for Steve. Steve was I'm sorry.
Steve was an arms dealer.
Please don't.
Please don't air that. That's what you want to say. He slipped up, and that all points to it. And of course, we got big money involved. George Soros reaped $73 million from the Las Vegas. What he did is he put options on MGM. And a put option, if anyone doesn't know, is that a stock is going to go down. He put that on there. In the month before, a couple months before, it happens. Bam, cashes out. This guy makes fucking, excuse my language, I'm sorry, millions off people's deaths. And it's getting so old. And there is a fake news report going around, I think it started yesterday, that George Soros was arrested. I tried to find some backup evidence on that. It's just the one site before it's news.com, and there's no sources there. So I want to see this guy in jail. I'd love to see him go to Guantanamo, and he needs to get his. I don't know how long we got to wait here. This is getting old. You also have the CEO of Mandalay Bay, who sold his shares in the months before this. We go down here. Let me bring this up a little bit bigger for you. So it's September 7th, started his sell-off. Or excuse me, that was the last one. So September 7th, September 6th, August 8th, July 30th, all these shares that he was selling. And then he waited till that crashed and then bought them back up after this. What a way to make a profit. People's deaths. All right, it's going to happen. All right, we'll do it in my hotel. We'll take these people out, make a little bit of money. They paid me off nice. You get the FBI in there. You get that snickery FBI agent behind the sheriff to make sure he doesn't slip up. And that's how it goes. And that's America. And hopefully we can take all this out and change stuff. But dang, this is crazy, crazy stuff. All right, guys, if you want to call in, the phone lines are open. I would love to hear some feedback from you. 1-605-562-0444. 1-605-562-0444.
Oh, yeah.
Got another about 15 minutes, and I'll close this show down. All right, I want to move to something fun. Should we do some fun stuff after talking something so serious a little bit? I think so.
Arizona.
All right, this is cool. A space hotel. So this is a space hotel. This is in Chimera, Alusha, Ukraine. Now, the way it's designed is just like a spaceship. Let me click through these photos. And it's kind of like, it's probably not the exact spaceship that I would want to stay in. Like, I'm more of the futuristic, clean look. This is kind of like an 80s spaceship thing. But I thought it was just cool to bring up and to mention this. So you can stay here for 5,000 ruble. That's $76 a night. So not too bad. So they have 45-minute tours with the ability to control the spacecraft using 3D virtual technology. Participate in space battles, protect the entire galaxy from alien invasion. You can choose between double and triple cabins, each with its own shower and toilet, comfortable beds, a table, interactive monitors, and a small library of domestic and foreign fiction. The price includes a light breakfast, which includes a sandwich, coffee, tea, or a vitamin mineral space cocktail of your choice. I went to their website. I had to translate it. And here's a video. Play this a little bit because it shows a little more pictures than the other. I'll turn this thing off so you can see it. I can't scroll down for some reason. What the hell? But kind of cool. I mean, it's something different. It'd be cool to try, I guess. But like I said, I'm more about that futuristic, clean look. And then let's go to gallery. Check this out a little bit. So, yeah. For those listening, I guess words can't do this justice, but it's kind of like an 80s. And then they also have these like fridge things, like where you basically they're like toothpaste things, and that's what you get your food out of. So just like you're having the whole experience as if you were living in space. I got all the guns behind the case and stuff. And these pictures are really kind of limited. I would like to see more. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a hotel, but I tried to do a Google street view outside of it, but they didn't drive by that building, unfortunately. But yeah, it's there if you would like to go over there sometime and go on vacation. Be kind of neat, I think. All right. So I guess I'm going to move on over to our next topic. This was a huge one.
Jamie, please.
Billionaire Musk releases all Tesla patents to help save the Earth. I've kind of been saying this about the whole copyright issue before, that it kind of needs to be more lax. Elon Musk announced Thursday he had released all of the electric car maker Tesla patents as part of an effort to fight climate change. His blog post promised the company will not initiate patent lawsuits against anyone who, in good faith, wants to use their technology. If we clear a path for the creation of compelling electric vehicles, but then lay intellectual property landmines behind us to inhibit others, we are acting in a manner contrary to that goal. I totally agree, because I always said, like, you get these patent laws in, you get people like, and then copyright laws also. I have a big issue with that. That it's counterproductive to humanity. You get some good things going, but then this one company wants to keep it to themselves, and then they're not gonna, like, let's just push through as a whole civilization and move forward. Now, like the whole copyright law thing, I have a big issue with, because, you know, I did a show a couple weeks ago where I showed just a small trailer of the Annihilation movie. I was promoting it. They should be happy with that. Well, it gets flagged up on YouTube, and I disputed it. It was in fair use. That's fair use. To talk. I had the music off for the trailer. I just talked over it. But no, Paramount Pictures says, nope, it's ours. So what they do is they get basically the whole money for the whole video hour that I did. And it's like, I just showed a small trailer section, and then they want to pull that crap. So we got to have, like, and there's no judge, no jury. It's YouTube stays to the side. The next step would be to take it to court. It's just endless of this crap. And you got a big company like that doesn't have enough money that they have to start taking from small YouTubers. Give me a break. So there has to be some kind of clear copyright thing where this doesn't happen. Like, I can understand if you took somebody's whole video, reposted it, threw ads on it, and then made it your... That I understand, but when you're just showing a little clip, they have to be following the fair use policy, and they don't, and YouTube doesn't want to go through that. But this is why Elon Musk taking a step. Yes, strong supporter of this, because let's move forward with the planet, and he's not gonna, okay, if there's a little infringing on his copyright for the electric vehicles, well, at the end of the day, if we want to switch this thing, if they want to say the planet's gonna die in 12 years or whatever, let's go ahead and start changing it. Like, I'm not against technology, but when they want to sit and let's say the only way to change it is carbon credits, give me a break. That's too much control. In fact, Musk said he was now skeptical of patents, which too often only serve to stifle progress and help enrich giant corporations and lawyers rather than investors. Oh my God, that's so perfect.
Exactly.
It is impossible for Tesla to build electric cars fast enough to address the carbon crisis. So yeah, at the end of the day, you know, you're still charging those cars. Thanks for the sub, Renee. You're still charging those cars from your electric coal-based plants, or wherever you're getting it from, a nuclear plant, whatever it may be. So is it completely adjusting the carbon issue that they say is so bad? No. So, no one wants to call in and talk to me? Phone lines are open, folks. Let me bring that number back up. Love to hear from you. I'm going to cover one more topic, and then I guess we'll just close up shop. Let me switch on over, right?
You gotta warn people.
All right. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Facebook to set up war rooms to fight fake news. Really? Facebook plans to tackle fake news and hate speech in the run-up to the EU elections in May with new war rooms. The social media giant has set up 2 new centers in Dublin and Singapore to monitor election integrity and will also be monitoring Instagram and WhatsApp. Super chat coming in. Hot.
Heart, yellow heart, green heart, blue heart, purple heart, heart, yellow heart, green heart, blue heart, purple heart.
Good one, Fred. Thanks for the donation. I did play your message. I don't know if you missed it, Fred, but I did play your message at the beginning of the show that you called in about what little bit I could. So, yeah. After its hands-off approach to content policing led to more accusations of fake news and misinformation in 2016, Facebook dramatically ramped up its content policing efforts in the run-up to November's midterm elections in the U.S. The social media giant partnered with third-party fact-checkers to vet news content, trained an AI to spot and remove false news stories, introduced transparency rules for political advertisement, and went as far as building a physical war room to monitor elections for foreign interference in real time. We all know Facebook likes to control the narrative, and they do say in this article they did both left and right, but you know, if you're on the left a little bit, you can get away with a lot. You can make some death threats and you get away scot-free, but if you're on the right and you're a Trump supporter, nope, can't have that. That's fake news. So they said these teams will add a layer of defense against fake news, hate speech. Oh, hate speech. Really?
Oh, yeah.
And voter suppression, and will work cross-functionally with our threat intelligence, data, science, engineering, research, community operations, legal, and other teams. As well as probing Facebook, and teams will monitor Instagram and WhatsApp for misuse. It's all about control on how they want to control the narrative and what their overlords say that they can do, right?
Oh, yeah.
Facebook prepared for the 2018 midterms by purging 800 alternative news pages from its platform. The pages range from flag-waving right-wing to left-wing anti-war sites, and were all removed for allegedly breaching Facebook's spam rules or misleading users. See, this stuff is so vague. They can basically make up any crap and get away with it. Its election monitoring effort for this year will focus on Niagara, Ukraine, and Israel, as well as the European Parliament election in May. So, yeah. Whatever they say goes. They got to control who wins. They're a big part because fake news and all that stuff. All right, we got a phone caller. We're going to go to him right now. This is area code 951. You are on the air.
Hey, Dan. This is Fred Grace.
Hey, Fred.
You're one of my faves, bro. I really love your station. I've seen you grow some more. And it's so good to keep you trying. I know, to just keep trying because it's so hard out there. They will demonetize you. They will chase you. They will gang stalk you. It's so sad.
It is.
Anyway, Dan, that Pentagon UFO where there was 3 corroborated videos. This one guy named Richard Wilson, he's the one that says, turn right, turn right, turn right. And then they're real close, but they didn't get the best footage.
So you're talking about...
I called that dude. I emailed him, and he's been emailing me back, and he said Secure Team 10 lied, and that Secure Team 10, intentionally or not, they lied. And that Volta 7 dude, he's nothing. That guy's a jokester. And so this thing gets deep, because right after this Pentagon UFO goes down, we know it all has to do with military tribunals. Right after that goes down over the Pentagon, then here comes that other fake scene from the UN. And so when the government or whoever tries to always like distract you from what the real thing is, the real deal is there was a huge TR-3B using like 7D holographic imaging to make that pyramid. And
wait a minute. So back up here. So I didn't catch the Secure Team 10. So what did Secure Team 10 say about it?
Oh, they said that it was fake. That Volta 7 Studios, some guy named whatever, he's like a German dude. I don't know what his real name is, but he thinks, like Volta. Anyway, he thinks he's like some German Q clearance dude who's like from, the rocket program from back in the days. And because that's when the UFOs really started, So anyway, this guy, what happened was Secure Team 10 went out there and he said the pyramid video over the Pentagon was fake. And then even though there was 3 corroborated videos, and I've talked to Richard Wilson, and he's not willing to come out. Actually, he just came out of the hospital and I'm trying to tell him, look, these guys are gang stalking you, man. They're on you. They probably hurt you to put you down. You go look for Richard Wilson on his station on YouTube. You can't find it. They put 100 more Richard Wilsons up there. But I got it. I'm subscribed to his channel. But anyway, man, this whole thing, it's just a bunch of nonsense. And so anyway, I'm going to make a new video on that one. I got my own station. I see it over there. I'm on Steam It. You're on DTube. Anyway, I appreciate you on there. I always give you the upvote.
Yeah, much appreciated. It's hard to get a audience over there. Like when I was not able to live stream on YouTube, it was like being in jail. Now even my viewer count has dropped significantly. I was expecting, because I did see that there was supposed to be a purge coming with your subscribers because the fake channels that subscribe or whatever, but those didn't go down. What went down was my viewership, which is kind of like weird. So I think there's a lot of shadow banning going on.
Yeah, they demonetize me. You get too close, they're just going to bury you. And that's one thing that's weird about this whole UFO deal. It's like there's nothing big enough, First thing, it's like a UFO over the pyramid. Oh, that's not good enough. We got old footage from 2 years ago about hypersonic speed. Check this out. And then next week, it's another something else somewhere else. And nobody ever really focuses on like one thing. What the hell's going on? What the government's doing? The government has so many freaking spaceships, bro. It's unbelievable. The Sky Dreadnoughts, the star-shaped ship, those things are like submarines, air submarines. And you listen to Boyd Bushman from Lockheed Martin, and he'll tell you it's kind of like in the belly of a submarine, and it floats. So anyway, this is all electromagnetic stuff. If you play with that too, if you pop a plasma generator, they'll come. They will take you down. So this is all big syndicate, These guys want to sell the gas. They're not going to stop, bro.
Are you on your speakerphone?
I don't know, new technologies. Anyway, Dan, I appreciate talking to you, man. Nice to collaborate with you. Admire your show.
All right, Fred. Thanks for calling in.
All right, later.
See ya. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Fred's always a good guy. Should go over and check him out. Yeah, if he was being demonetized by YouTube too, it's very hard. You put all your work and time and effort in something like this, and then they just pull the rug out from under you. And it almost feels like I got to rebuild an audience here too. So that being said, I appreciate you guys watching live. Now don't forget, next week, folks, I do have M and Miss M coming on from Deep Disclosure. We're going to talk about some of the white hat stuff, currency revaluation. That's February 12th. Lots of other stuff. They will take phone calls. So I'm going to open the phone calls at the end of that show, and you can call in with questions and stuff. So make it a nice, kind of like a George Norrie show, if you will, right? Always listening to George Norrie. Again, that's 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. You can join me live over there and always appreciate it. All right, folks, another good show, right?
A junior Western Bacon Cheese.
Dan Hohlfeld signing off. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.